Welcome back. Good morning to day 3 of FreedoniaCon. We're starting the morning off with the very, very talented Mr. James Austin and our very own Kyle as well, who are going to work on a Tiskrang Swordmaster, I believe. Let you guys have it.
That's the plan. Yes, this will be the second character in our iconic line of Earthdawn characters. We wanted a bunch of characters with a sort of, I don't know, in my head at any rate, as a way to introduce Earthdawn specific character races and character disciplines, um, to be taken out in isolation, or filled put in as characters in an adventure. And so yeah, I mean, hopefully the plan will be to do all 15 15 disciplines, I think, in 10 character races. Kyle can correct my numbers if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of characters.
Yeah, 15 core disciplines and then the two disciplines and paths probably. And then there's 8 main races.
Right. All right. So, what we are working with the, I don't know if I don't know what the right word is. Is it archetype? Is it a trope? Is it what is it about the Scrang Swordmaster that makes it important for Earthdawn?
I mean, I think the Tiskrang race, I think, is very interesting to a lot of people because they're kind of like a lizard man kind of race, but they're not like these cavemen hissing monsters. They're like fancy and flashy, and like they have like the um, crest, and they almost have a lot of bird-like qualities, one could say. So I think a lot of people kind of are drawn to the idea of playing a lizard man type thing when they come over from D&D, and then when they realize that they can be a flashy, talky lizard man, I think that's even one more reason to play as one. And
You,
then this,
you don't have to sweet
this
talk your GM into bending the rules to do anything. No, it's in the rules. You can
exactly.
literally just do it.
And then a sword master. I think a sword master is kind of just like a talking, fighting class because I think there's a lot of call for people who want to be a class that gets to fight, but then also has like stuff to do during social scenes. So then those two things just work really well together. So, like in the lore, Tiskrang are a lot about being merchants and traders along the Serpent River. So then it just dovetails really nicely with the discipline of the swordmaster. And Socrates is sharing his one of his favorite pictures of the Tiskrang,
Oh,
which
excellent.
is the Tiskrang showing off his endowments, his
Oh, here.
powerful tail.
I've lost my I've lost my main room chat link. Hang on, I can just click here. Oh, I was also just behind. You guys were chatting a lot. Here we go. Oh yeah, what an interesting pose. We'll just put that up here for goodness gracious. Is that like some sort of that's some sort of like special attack, right? That's
Well, tail attack is something that is a racial ability of all Tiskrang, but it doesn't necessarily have to be between the legs, I would say.
it's a way to insult the mammals. That's like just check this out, warm blood. I've got
Yeah, they
you
got tail envy.
you don't have a tail at all. Oh, I've forgotten the answer to this already. I had several conversations over the years about Tiskrang physiology, where where I talked about, so first of all, one thing that Josh said, and I happen to totally agree, is the female Tiskrang, there's to be no semblance of a breast. to them. I was like,
Hmm.
oh yes, no, that is strictly like mammalian. Like I get that. No, no problem.
Yes.
But I was getting a little bit confused because I had seen like there is artwork out there of Tiskrang like wearing like like very human like boots like
Yeah.
this, and I'm like that doesn't sit well with me. In my head, I would much rather have the. And actually, I've forgotten. I'm just forgetting my. I'm I'm forgetting all of my words, but there's a word for the sort of the hind leg of like a like
Oh, like if they have a hawk.
digitigrade. Yeah, like if it had like the but this sort of, I mean, fundamentally the bone structure is the same. It's just where humans are. Yeah, it's digitigrade. Yeah, I think it's something like that. But where humans, we have heels like sort of here, and when we walk, we put our heels down on the ground. But the but it's so it's basically like they're walking around on their tiptoes all the time.
I think there's been several different takes over the years. So I got a few that I have prepared.
All
Most
right,
of these are from first edition.
I'm just gonna
Uh,
clear out the special tail attack. That's got to be up there with like the Ool pinup in terms of trauma. I I think.
One thing
You
that
know
I've
I'm still
noticed
listening,
is
right? Making fun of our wonderful, glorious, well liked Ool pinups.
one thing that I've noticed is almost all of their old edition art, they have 4 fingers,
Okay.
which I thought
And
was unusual.
if I'm looking at my counting, I don't know, the image is very small on my machine. Oh, there we go. Do they just have two toes? Like, are there
Uh,
only two?
yeah, it looks like most of the art seems to show, not a lot of art shows the feet, and I think a lot of art cheats it with the boots. But this art here, I think they kind of have like 2 front toes and a back toe, kind of like a bird.
All right. All
So I
right.
don't
Well,
think
are
they're
we
quite digitigrade. I think most of them don't go for the full hawk.
right? Okay. So they do walk sort of flat-footed, so it would be almost like. Oh, it'd be actually
Yeah,
be more. It'd be more. Well, it'd be more like a person then. Okay, so are we? I don't know. Personally, if it were just up to me, I would make it like this. I find like the hind leg of like a T-Rex for Jurassic Park. But if we're talking about establishing canon here, we should probably talk, because if we had a back toe that was kind of serving like a heel, then they would be standing almost like a person does, and have their heel down. I mean, I suppose they could still like come up on their toes, but just in sort of a more relaxed pose, it would be more like the way a person stands.
right.
And also, that would probably be atomically fairly correct because if you look at the more upright dinosaurs, they tended to have that, didn't they? Like your raptors and stuff like that, that then became the birds of prey and all that mess.
I would
On
need
some
to
of them,
look.
I'll go
This
check.
is this is we're getting too deep. We only have 2 hours.
No, no, no. Go back to doing what you're wanting.
Yeah.
I just thought it
The
made sense
the
because, like,
far
especially if you look at like bird feet, they have that back one too.
yeah,
There we go.
the
So there's
farthest my art reference went digging was all the way out to crested birds. So I posted that.
That's valid.
Hmm. Because another thing that I think is fun with Tiskrang, which isn't exactly relevant to this conversation, is their like big head fin things. And I've seen a lot of like fan art take pretty wild takes on their head fins. And I think there's a lot of fun variations. So I went all the way out to all sorts of different crested birds, but there's a lot of different foot structures on this picture as well.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of the birds have that sort of back toe. All right. That's right. We'll go with it. It's on the paper now. So it may as well be engraved in stone.
You're the art director. It's your canon, right?
Well, I can't just fly in the face of 30 plus years of history here.
True. You can
All right.
slowly change it and then gaslight us all.
I'd let you just fly in the face of it too. I'm pretty easygoing. James is in
That's right. I
charge.
think
We all
tr-
bow to whatever James wants. That's the
for
rules.
for me, it's really just important that I want them to be distinctly different than like an ordinary biped. So that would be I want them to feel really different than a biped. Like a human's shoes should not fit a Tiskrang. If we can hit that mark, I think I'll be
Yeah,
happy. I'll be happy.
Okay.
I agree with that. I really
Me too.
like the picture of the Tiskrang with like the sword rapier forward, but I do agree that the boots probably should be different. Oh, Josh, hi.
Oh, I didn't realize I was on. Um, sorry, I was talking to my daughter. I didn't realize I had voice activity on.
No problem. I didn't realize you would come in.
All right. So, what kind of sword should our sword master have? I suppose I should probably figure that out before I give him an arm. Like how what sort of sword does our sword master have?
Well, so I was going into thinking about this, and we talked about this a little bit with our troll last stream, and we could do a couple different things. Let's see what they're saying in the chat.
You want
British Joel says
basket
basket hilt.
hilts. All right.
And yeah, we could definitely do a rapier basket hilt kind of thing. I do think it would be fun if our Tiskrang was a like someone who was often on a ship. So doing a rapier or some sort of weapon that would work well on a ship. And one thing to point out about the Swordmaster discipline is that even though they have the name sword in the name of the discipline, really what they're about is just getting really into one type of weapon. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a sword.
Okay.
So if we want it to be a sword and a rapier, we totally could. An alternative take that I was going to mention is that we could do like a longer weapon that might be easier to use on a boat. But it's 100% your call.
Well, yeah, if we're sort of trying to lean into the archetype here, is the sort of swashbuckling
I think swashbuckling is very, very trope.
okay. Well, let's lean into that then.
Okay.
It actually
I was also thinking it would be very cool if we very purposefully made this Tiskrang Swordmaster a female.
okay, excellent.
Though we were specifically talking earlier that doesn't mean breasts or anything like that, but we could try to do female presenting.
Absolutely. But so in that case, how how do females to Scrang differ? So normally in most sort of humanoid type situations, females tend to be slightly smaller, maybe a little less brightly colored if we're going the uh, from the from the animal from the bird world.
Yeah.
Um, and tend to
Oh,
have
go ahead.
well, no, I was just going to keep going. So slightly like we can give so in general, males tend to look better with angles and more blocky shapes. More feminine characters are frequently curves. So if we make the waist tinier, something like this, and what is this? I'll make her arms a little less bulky. She's got giant forearms, which is also not a very feminine trait.
And one thing that's also interesting about Tiskrang is that they are a matriarchal society. So I thought that would be another fun reason for us to have a female swordmaster. And as far as like their clothing goes, it seems like they use like clothing that we generally recognize, So that part we could probably lean into, but We're
All
not that far
right.
yet.
So you're
Yes, we're just
saying
trying to
they
get
get to put
the
pretty
poetry
jewelry on her?
here.
Maybe, yeah,
Because that's pretty feminine
it's true. And it's
and
flashy, which is what
matriarchal.
we're all about.
I mean,
Hmm.
No, she looks just a little tense. I thought in general we should have a the way their head comes out. So human heads are basically balanced like straight over their neck, right? Versus a lizard person in most of the art where I feel like they should have more like of a hunch, like the skull is attached like back here, giving them a little bit
Okay.
more of a serpentine neck. Now we could change that if we wanted. We could legitimately just move her head over her body, which would certainly make it easier to make it distinctly feminine. Let's see. So you know what? I was thinking, you know what? I was thinking male as I started. So it turns out you can't or I can't at any rate easily turn. There we go. Okay. No, it was the arm that was the problem. Even the giant shoulder that was the problem. So we can It's gonna be nice and curvy, and then
And then before you return to the arms, something that the chat is mentioning is pretty early on in a swordmaster's career, they get access to the second weapon talent. And then
yeah.
also the fact that they have tail attack, you can kind of use second weapon and tail attack sort of together. So we could try to have them have a weapon in their offhand if we wanted to. So they could do like the rapier and dagger, rapier and like a little hand axe, something like that.
All right. Excellent. Let's give her just a slightly more rounded shoulder. And then, so if this is, I mean, assuming that most people are right hand dominant, this is going to be her right hand. How would she be holding? Is it casual? I feel like our first one was very casual. So if we want to ever put these pieces together, we should uh, they should all have sort of similar energy. So I think she can be a little bit casual. There we go. And we'll just, you know what? You know what? Yeah, we're not gonna no crazy poses today in just the 2 hours that we have. We could have them sort of.
Josh mentions in chat, and I definitely agree that he enjoys watching you figure out these poses. And we talked about this a lot yesterday, but you figuring out the big shapes is very interesting.
Oh, thank you. Yes, well, I mean, it's the foundation, right? If in this form, if we don't capture the sort of attitude or energy that we want, even at this stage, if it doesn't read clearly, then we're just gonna find ourselves with problems later. So yes, always important to make sure it looks how you want it to look before moving on. I was saying yesterday, I had probably the best piece of advice I ever got was to don't think of it like drawing, think of it like sculpting. Like you're you're pushing things back into the background or pulling things forwards, chipping away at the block of marble, so to speak. So now she has a teeny tiny tail right now, which is perhaps not what we want. Um,
So, reading the physical description of Tiskrang from the player's guide.
Mhm.
Tiskrang are reptilian beings that stand on average 5 feet 9 inches tall, with a tail that adds another 5 to 6 feet in length.
Oh goodness. Okay, so if she is, let's say, 5.5 feet, let's say, then her tail has to be also like that. So let's.
Right.
Yep. So
And
here.
then the tail is not prehensile, but it is like they're able to like move it like a whip, kind of.
Right. Okay. So oh boy, do we need a lot of room here. All right. Excellent.
And then as you're finding room for that, Josh says that your story about pushing art forward and backward into the sculpt reminds him of writing advice that if you encounter a problem at some point in your story, it probably has roots earlier in the text.
Yes. I can see that absolutely. There we go. It might not actually be 5 feet, but we're gonna go like
I mean,
this.
it visually reads as about 5 feet, which is what's important.
Excellent. We'll say maybe female describing have slightly more slender tails. And then okay, so our second weapon be slightly smaller. All right. Okay. That's that's feeling pretty good. Where's our light going to be coming from? All right. My daughter is putting on a concert in her room behind me. I don't think anything would be coming through the mic, but it's
It is not audible, but it sounds awesome.
it's still Frozen. Is she still singing Frozen like 12 years later? Okay,
What staying power?
that's it. You know, you can tell. All right. So
She hasn't let it go yet.
no, she has not let it let it go yet. All right. So basket hilt means I don't have to draw hands. So I guess that's one thing. But I like drawing hands, especially when they're non-human hands and they only have 3 fingers and that sort of thing. But let's let's see where we land here. All right. So swashbuckler, swashbuckler, lady swashbuckler. Do we go like full pirate puffy shirt here? Like what are we doing?
I think so. Something that I think would be fun to do is going full into the puffy shirt, and then they often have like the big hat with like the feathers. But instead of actually having the hat, we make their like head fin and whatever accoutrement we put on the fin kind of have that silhouette.
Ah, all right. Okay. Oh goodness me. All right. So if we want
I'm
to have
asking a lot for your second stream.
that's all right. That's all right. So okay, so if we want to have like a feather in the hat, we're gonna have to be a little bit careful that it doesn't come across like tribal or indigenous here.
Sure.
Um, but if we wanted like a literal feather in the cap, and then what? I mean, a million years ago. Oh, attached. You know what? A million years ago, I had done a piece of art with it for a to Scrang, and he had like a bandana on his head that I felt was sort of piratey. Sort of had like a
You're talking about one of the Empty Thrones characters?
no, I did it just
No?
on a whim. It
Ooh,
was
on a lark.
yeah, I think I was trying to work actually it might have even been in preparation for like the first stream that we did. I was trying to practice no, I'm not digging that so much. I was trying to practice doing a complete piece um like in a I mean I guess in under an hour
Sure.
uh that felt finished but didn't I wasn't like laboring over every single
Right.
over every single teeny tiny shape. Um, and actually, I quite liked him. Um,
Yeah,
But
like bandanas. I'd be on board for that. Someone in chat mentions like earring piercings, like that kind of stuff
mm,
would be
uh,
cool.
there we go.
Even
Great
though
big.
they don't technically have earrings, but piercing like their thin,
Yeah.
I think
I
would
think
work.
at the time, I think what I had done is I had sort of give like sort of like the way they. I loved the treatment of the Klingons from
Oh
the
yeah,
from the Star Trek reboot, how they had sort of like they had adorned their cranial ridges, and I was like, that you know what? If I had a head fin, I could totally see getting like a fin piercing.
yeah. That sounds flashy and stylish. I'd be down.
Yeah. All right.
And
So
if blood pebble armor is common in the setting, which is basically just full body tattoos, I feel like body piercings would be a thing.
there we go. So she will have these piercings sort of dangling off the back of her ridge, crest is probably a better word. I got
Yeah, crest is probably
I
the.
I got stuck on the Klingon word, cranial ridge. And then all right, puffy shirt. So if we give her great big puffy shoulders, and of course those are famously like wide open at the
Yeah,
top.
and it can be like incredibly low cut and flashy without it seeming weird.
Exactly. So we're gonna put like little wraps or something on her arm to try to still show off the slenderness of her arm underneath. So nobody gets confused that the puffiness is actually her shoulders.
80s power
That's
jacket.
so it'll puff back out around here, and I don't know. I feel like maybe she's got like rolled up sleeves, maybe like she likes down to business type things. We're gonna roll up the sleeves, get her.
I like it.
All right, and then so what probably happens? It's like really loose and stuff right up here. Like it'll like hang off her
Sure.
at the top, and it'll come in, and we'll do like a I don't know. Do we do like a full sort of corset type deal?
What if it's kind of like one of those like tight coats with like tails on the back? Let's see. Let me see if I can find a good picture of what I'm talking about.
Was the way of drawing her tail. So this is going to have to go around her tail as well, which is perhaps not so great. But it's all going to be tucked in. So this time I'm going to embrace my Ubisoft side and give her
All
two,
the buckles,
all
belts.
all the buckles. Well, she's got two swords to carry,
Yeah.
right?
So she needs at
So
least two belts and probably a third for her stuff.
bare minimum. All right. So in this case, are we okay? So are we talking about covering up the puffy shoulders?
No, no, I'm just saying like maybe the puffy shoulders would be part of this jacket thing. I was thinking that she's wearing a jacket, but if you think she's just wearing a shirt, then never
Neat.
mind.
Okay. Well, hey, no. Let's roll with it here. What are we doing
Just
here? So
trying to brainstorm with you.
I do. You know what? I do like this shape, this sort of puffiness here, and the drapery,
Hmm.
which we would kind of lose if it was
Yeah,
a
let's
more
keep that then.
structured jacket. Well, you know what? We can also get it back in a second here. So if we treated it more like a jacket, so it's more fitted. So it comes together, we get like a little buckle or something here, hold it together, and then it comes down just sort of off the side here. So it would sort of So it could even be on top of the straps. Hmm, it's not bad, but I don't feel like the puffy shoulders work with it anymore.
I feel like you're not feeling it. You don't have to belabor it. It's okay.
Well, if we go back. I do like the idea of having something a little bit more substantial sort of
Sh-
coming out. I don't
She could maybe have like instead of like pants, like a skirt thing, or she could kind of have like something that dangles down from the belt. That's like
um,
cloth.
so if we were to do something like this, let's say. Like a couple of, I don't know, little jingly bits or something there. I don't know what that is yet.
She definitely jangles when she walks. All eyes must be on the sword master when they walk around the room.
And then we could still give her.
In the short description of the sword master from the player's guide, it says, sword masters are fighters who learn the value of a well-handled weapon, training to demonstrate quickness, flash, and panache in a fight. Sword masters often emphasize style as much as skill. All about the panache.
Hmm.
I mean, at rest, you can't show a ton of panache, but showing off all your jingly bits is the panache.
Well, you know what we could do? Maybe we could do something like this where we'll just put her head at a jaunty angle, like she's like looking back at you, like that's right.
Jaunty up that head.
I'm that's right. I'm awesome.
I like it.
What have I just done?
Discover.
I don't need to discover anything, thank you. I just hit the wrong hotkey. Right. I mean, as far as the basic outlines, it's gonna be fun to try to put like an expression on her face here. Should she be smiling? I feel like she should be smiling. Try to make her smile a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see the face work you do when you don't have lips to work with.
Not it's not easy.
I'm sure you'll make it look easy.
Maybe we'll just get a couple more little, I don't know, little things. I don't know how this is attached yet. Try to
We'll,
figure that
we'll
out.
work it out in post.
All right, right on. Let's put a little more detail. Where are we at? All right, half an hour and a bit in. I try to time sort of got away from me. I gotta remember. I forgot to like. Nope, no. You gotta work clean when you want to work fast. If you don't work cleanly as you go, you're just gonna have to go back and fix everything later. So I gotta remind myself. Nope, gotta work clean.
It's a quick draw.
Yeah, you're not saving any time by leaving all those messy strokes everywhere.
I posted a picture. I found a Tiskrang cavalryman from, I think, the old Name Givers book. And he's got like little feathers in his cap. And he's got like this really weird little leather cap on that I thought was funny.
Oh, fun. That could be cool.
Yeah.
All right. I wasn't down for I wasn't digging the headscarf, but like a little like leather cap thing could be fun.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
Trying to throw out ideas.
I like it.
see if I can find anything else.
No, it's got to be turned up at the end, otherwise she doesn't look like she's smiling. I'll give her a slightly smaller nose. Try to lean into those feminine features.
Those tertiary characteristics.
Mm-hmm. And maybe
I don't know who did this piece for Empty Thrones, but I thought that this Tiskrang came out very unique and interesting looking West Thrall.
I actually don't recall who did that one, which is bad because I should remember.
Josh says I can check. But one of the things I liked, I think, was maybe the dangly jewelry was an interesting idea. Just throwing interesting ideas out.
Right. Joel Bisk. Excellent. Classic. It's got that wonderful classic Earthdawn feel. No wonder of course it was Joel.
True. The previous Scrank piece is also Joel. These are both bisques.
Big fans, big fans.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, right. I said we were gonna. Oops. What have I done? What have I done? All right. Let's go back and look at that headpiece. Oop, there it is. All right. So it had the main piece. We're going to keep it sort of high on the forehead. I think that'll help us again maintain that air of femininity. And then how is it? Doesn't super duper show how it's attached on the sides, but whatever. We'll.
I feel like it's like belted on because there's like that big buckle on the head.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, excellent. So just and then so it'll just be maybe tied around just sort of at the base of the crest there. I put way too much thought into how all of these pieces work together, but I went to university with a costume designer, or a lady who ended up becoming a costume designer. She was studying theater and costume design at the time,
Hmm.
and she always gave me really brutal feedback on the on the clothing that any of my characters were wearing. She would just no, James, fabric does not fabric does not do that.
Nice.
So I
I went to an engineering school that was also famous for architecture. So I one year had an architect roommate, and the next year had a civil engineering roommate. And they brutally gave each other feedback that was similar, where no, houses do not work like this. I do like. I feel like first edition had this to some extent as well, and it's something that you've carried forward. That the art is very fantastical, but also feels kind of grounded in reality by staying like practical and seeing like how it works. So I like that you are interested in figuring out how this stuff would fit together.
Oh, I
It's
I I take my fantasy very seriously. It you can't I don't yeah, the just well, whatever you want. It's a magic headpiece, so it just sits on your head. No, 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 no. That's
well, there's always like that one rule in like writing is you can make your readers suspend their disbelief for like one thing. They'll accept one piece of magic, and then when you just add in a second one randomly, they'll be like, "Wait a minute, this now it doesn't make
yeah,
sense."
you're yes.
There can be giant lizard people. I'm on board, but magic headdresses, come on now.
No, I'm for that 100%. The idea that yeah, you can ground your fantasy in reality. 100% for that.
Hmm.
All right. Now how I suppose in this case the feather would like come like like all the way to the headpiece, I guess.
Probably. Sounds plausible.
Well, otherwise I don't know how it's just glued to her head.
The things we do for fashion. What was it? The French noble women who had the bird nests in their head?
Oh, that sounds right. That sounds like a thing. I feel like that's a thing that British Joel would know.
I got married last year, and it was just so hilarious to me that my wife and her whole wedding party had to do all of these things to prepare for the wedding. They had to get up at 7 in the morning, and they had to have all these people come over and do their makeup and do their hair and all that stuff. And like all that was expected of me was that I get a haircut like the day
Just
before
sh-
and
just show up.
yeah, shave, maybe put some product in your hair, try to look nice, guy.
Just try not to look like a complete dirtbag.
Yeah, I was like, should I do something? I mean, they're gonna be at the house. I'm gonna be there. Like, we could pay extra. And they're like, well, what would you even do? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything about makeup. But we're gonna have photographers. I'll do whatever. It'll probably just look weird. Don't do anything. Okay, that's easy for me.
Got it. Yep, that's it.
To do nothing?
Can
Yes, ma'am.
do, chief.
I will stay out of your way. I just came in at like 10 a.m. with donuts and was the hero.
That sounds like a good contribution, I
Yeah.
think.
Got about 15 minutes left in your first hour.
Oh no. All right. I spent too much time on the headpiece. This is fine. This is fine. We're
I
gonna
saw you getting into individual feathers, so I figured I should remind you.
all right.
It's looking
Luckily,
awesome, though.
okay, we're gonna try to keep I think I made a bit of a mistake yesterday with Oscar that everything got very, very complicated and we just didn't quite have enough time to deal with all the various plates and strappy bits, not to mention a crystalline axe. So
I think it came out looking, pretty reasonably complete. Not like put this on everything kind of complete, but like a guy, you know.
well, for a first draft, hopefully
Yeah.
there'll be other art of Oscar. I spent a little time with him yesterday. A
Ooh.
little more time, just reworked the axe a bit.
Ooh. Oscar's glow up.
Yeah, he gets less and less finished the farther down you go. So
You like faces.
I do like faces.
You're a very
If I could,
personable guy.
well, that's where that's where you get to put all the character in. You can look for opportunities to put, you can look for opportunities to put character into a person's feet, but you know,
It's hard to find the opportunity for sure.
it is. How many different stories can you and actually, you know what? That's not really fair. I'm sure there are tons of stories, but it's a different. It's not what I like to.
Oh, you're not a foot story guy? You're going to go on record as you're not one of those foot story guys?
Correct. Maybe one time in my life we'll do like an Earthdawn book where you're gonna come to me and you'll be like, now James,
This one here, this is a foot story.
just stay with me on this. We're gonna need to pay a lot of attention to this one's feet. All
All right.
all right. I'm I'm trusting you on this.
It's critical to the lore. Trust me. Don't look it up. I'm liking all these straps. Very piratey.
That's it. Right, and we'll do. You know what? Maybe she'd have like, you know what they might be? They might be like big frilly cuffs. Like if
Yeah.
she were to like unroll them, maybe they're like big.
Ooh. Yeah, frills. Apparently there is a magical item that's 2 shackled feet in Earthdawn. I'm blanking on it right now.
2 shackled feet.
Yeah, get those lovingly detailed.
Right, I don't know enough about Earthdawn magical items. The only thing that's coming to my mind is like the feet of Vecna and what sort of magical powers they may have. But if there is foot related in magic and Earthdawn, just another reason Earthdawn is fantastic.
That's right. I like imagining that this woman had like the flashiest, showiest shirt, and she's like, "This is perfect. All eyes will be on me." And then the sleeves just kept getting in the way, and she's like, "Okay, I want to wear this shirt still. It looks cool. Let's just pull it up a little bit."
I think that works. I think that
Yeah.
we'll write that into her first adventure. She's like super happy to have this new fancy new shirt.
She's been thinking about buying this shirt since she hit Kaisa. Speaking of, I should mention Kaisa. Make sure James knows about Kaisa. So, at the age of 7, I'm not sure if you know about this, James. Hatchlings join their foundation, which is like their big family's labor force, working
Right.
alongside their adults and performing like their chores. And they're carefully assigned to different jobs. And then at the age of 12, they begin to undergo Kaisa, which is when they first begin to take on a gender. Up until then, males and females are identical.
Ah, neat.
Yeah, and they're unlike the trolls that we were doing yesterday, their childhood name and their adult name are the same. So their names are also entirely genderless. So
Fascinating.
among the Tiskrang, no one knows the hatchling sex until the onset of Kaisa. On the one hand, this permits the child to grow up unrestricted by the expectations of a certain role in society. On the other hand, the lack of practice, so to speak, only serves to make the process stranger and more complicated for the hatchling. And then there is a comment from Merox, Master of the Hall of Records, in this text. Moody and belligerent is a faint description of the humor of Tiskrangs during Kaisa. So there you have it.
It's lizard puberty. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, someone has posted the feet. There's feet. That is lovingly detailed feet.
All right, sorry, I need to see the magic feet. Oh, there they are. Goodness gracious. A Tiskrang foot and I don't know, some other kind of foot with 5 toes.
One of those pink skin toes.
Yes. All right. Oh, the strappy leather bits. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say that they are hooked on. Okay, I've rationalized the strappy bits in my head that I can live with.
Perfect.
They're not going around her tail. I'm like, how are they going around her waist right now? But I'm gonna say they're not going around her waist. Each strap actually has 2 clips on this sort of girdle-like piece here. So one here, and then before the tail, there will be another clip.
Perfect.
There we go. So it doesn't actually go all the way around her. Take that,
So they're just
physics.
front belts.
Yes, correct.
So we need to add to our next Serpent River book the Tiskrang front belt.
Well, it's something like I remember Dawn having a conversation or asking the question about the winged
Mm-hmm.
Scrang, and they clear like their wings sort of attach at their wrist and run basically all the way down their body like a flying squirrel.
Yeah.
But they're all like wearing shirts and stuff in all of in all of the artwork. And like
Yep.
how does that shirt work?
Yep. And then I believe we responded with, "We're writers, Don. We don't understand these questions."
I mean, I think I remember being very happy that I didn't have to resolve that particular question.
Yeah, because if it goes all the way from wrist to ankle, giving them any clothes seems like it would become problematic.
Yeah, I think oh, you know what it was? I think Dawn's particular example was one of those wearing a belt.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what to tell you. It makes no sense.
Yep. But now with the front belt, his problems are solved.
However, this display is also able to wear a girdle, which the winged ones would not.
Yes. The
So
Zet from Champions Challenge would not be able to girdle up.
complicated harnesses and cutouts.
So many harnesses. Got about 5 minutes left in your first hour.
Oh, the feet are going to get no attention. You know what? We're going to skip right to the feet. That's what we're going to do. So here's a fun question. You know what we could do? I feel like
Yeah.
if your feet are going to be on display at all times, would they
Hmm.
adorn like would fancy to scrying adorn their feet like humans, like anklets? Maybe she could have like an anklet.
Yeah. I'm 100% on board for that. Maybe it could even be like a little charm bracelet kind of anklet, just like a little circle thing with yeah, perfect.
All more jangle. Everything.
So
Everything.
much jangle.
Again, random question. How they might differentiate themselves from their males? Would they paint their toenails? Am I getting like I don't know? Am I
I don't
trudging
know.
into am I trudging into like sexist territory here,
I
or
don't
like
know. When
how?
did nail people start painting their toenails? Let me find that out.
Now that we've established how important feet are to everything.
Yeah, feet are critical. Oh, we have Sorid reference is from 1879.
Okay.
So Joel is opinionated about how they did things, how Tiskrang do things in the 1800s. Do they paint their nails in the 1800s?
These are
Let's
the
see.
important things. Where's the
Yeah, these
chapter
are
on
critical.
toenails?
Where's the history? Oh, it's been going back forever. So I think, you would be in the clear.
All
In
right. Well, I mean,
Europe, while traveling in Greece in the 1800s, but it's been in China since 3000 BC.
all right.
Clearly, we're boys who don't know a lot about this stuff.
Talk about getting into sexist territory. We need a girl to tell us about toenail painting, please.
Or
Uh,
anybody who knows a lot about this stuff.
yes, that's true.
I do get petties, and when you get a petty, you get a free nail painting, and I feel like I would be leaving money on the table if I didn't get my nails painted.
At least like a clear coat or something.
Yeah, so I've done the clear coat a couple times, and recently I've been letting my wife just pick a different color. So I've had colors on my toes,
Excellent.
but I just I don't have the experience.
The history.
Yeah, I don't know the lore.
Sorry, did I see a message? I thought I saw a message go by
Yes,
that might explain
Joel says that some tribes would probably paint their nails. The forest ones so would, but the plains tribes would probably consider it heretical. Mountain tribes wear boots. Oh, there's boots in the 1800s for these Tiskrang. Wing ones would as well, but the aquatic sword would kill you. So there's 1800s boot lore.
Okay.
It's cold up in the mountains. They do have a point there.
Well, sure. I guess it makes me wonder, how do cold-blooded creatures actually survive up in cold mountains?
I don't know that it's a fact that Tiskrang are cold-blooded, but they do lay eggs, so maybe they're bird-like enough that they count as warm-blooded. I don't know. Nobody has gone into the full physiology in any of the lore books.
Here we go. Next big project, Tiskrang anatomy book.
There it
period.
is. Oh, we're up on the weapons. It's exciting.
Well,
I did go into the physiology of Tiskrang or Saurids in the Saurid for some of the Saurid book, but it got edited for space. I consider them warm-blooded, like most large theropod dinosaurs.
Oh, all right. Probably makes sense to me that they would be warm-blooded. Otherwise, it would be a huge issue if you were an adventurer who wanted to go to like the deserts or something.
I'd suspect they probably
it's
run a
the
little
cold
colder
environments
than
that
us,
would be worse.
Yeah, that too.
Can I get you guys to pause for just a second? I'm going to stop and restart. Okay, one,
already
two.
pausing.
Yep, just basically pausing. 1, 2, 3.